welcome, cover junkies.
Welcome
to another episode of Cover Decoder.
It's another episode.
The show where we enter our giant scrap heaps, loaded with art weaponry, and rain cover fire down upon the unsuspecting minds of the mundane.
Yes.
This is the show that dissects art, nostalgia, and sub-pop culture through the lens of cover art, folks.
Cover art is the portal.
And tonight, riding with me as ever are the well-oiled and fully lubricated Inks and Brengineer.
I'm all lubed up.
Lubrication!
Ready to go.
Like it's 1984 in some rich guy's backyard by the pool. Cameras are rolling.
It's time to tan.
It's time to tan.
Boys, what are we doing tonight? What is happening?
Oh, boy.
Oh, man.
Well, we got into an argument. Us cover boys.
Yes.
We don't argue that often.
Dude,
but
the claws come out.
We got
argue
in
quite a
an
bit.
argument about
I don't
robots.
know. This is not the UNs who covered them, all right?
We argued about robots.
Yes, we did.
Whose robot would win?
Which robot Wang was bigger?
Exactly. And the thing is, we couldn't decide. We couldn't decide, and so we thought we need a jury. And who is the jury we trust most, other than our dear listeners? You listen to us,
our beloved.
You
cover
know
junkies.
us. You're the cover junkies. Who better to determine whose robot wins?
The winner.
Than you. And so that's what we're doing. We are going to pit robot against robot.
Shing! Cover fight.
3 robots enter, 1 robot leaves.
That is correct, folks. We're really excited. Remember to follow along the cover slides. You can do that at our website, coverdecoder.com. Click on the link.
Yes.
You'll find the slides. Yes. Also, if you listen on Spotify, it will just pop up in the episode.
Yeah, if you're listening on the app.
Yes, on the app. Very good stuff. Please follow along. But now, it is time. What's that in the sky? Is it an asteroid? A nebula space fart? No. It's a mechanical nightmare coming from Mars. It is the cover of Jeff Wayne's 1978's War of the Worlds, folks. Yes.
Here it is.
Oh, boy.
Look at it.
Boy.
Here it is. Now, I guess this is technically a robot. We didn't make the rules. We didn't really.
This is a robot.
Over. Technically, this is a vehicle.
Technically, this.
This is a mechanical machine.
This is a vehicle.
Technically, this is a car, not a robot.
Explain to me what a robot is.
Yeah.
A robot is a
piloted
automaton with an intellect.
No, that's an AI. It's different. Okay, are mech warriors robots?
Fair enough. No, you're right. They're
That's what I thought. I knew this was going to come up, and
they're
pinned
mechs.
you.
They're not robots.
I'm gonna put a pin in it.
mechs. Those are mechs.
Oh,
folks.
A mech. Technically, this is a mech. Okay.
It is. You're right. Okay, I'll go. I
thought a mech was a robot.
So,
mech.
as I said, this is This is the cover for 1978. Jeff Wayne's War of the Worlds. He had a vision.
Jeff Wayne specifically.
Yes, he had a vision, folks.
Yes, he did.
His father encouraged him when he was young. He was getting into composition. He said, "Jeff, you always wanted to write a musical to a novel." So Jeff ended up reading War of the Worlds, and he said, "This is it." He put his own money down on it.
Never.
He put his own money down on it.
Look out! It's something from the sky. Oh no! I think we're going to die.
He composed a prog rock opera based on the H.G. Wells novel and radio play. This album is insane. Folks, if you have not heard this, Inks, I am about to introduce you to your new favorite front to backer, okay?
All right. I love a good front to backer.
It has spoken words. It has tons of amazing early Moog synth work. It's got Phil Lynott from Thin Lizzy.
What?
Yes, doing both spoken word and singing parts.
Thin Lizzy has some cool robot covers.
Oh, dude, this is an absolutely insane album. But first, we need to go over the cover. So, Brengineer, would you please do the honors and explain the cover that you're looking at?
I would love to do the honors. So what you have is a very classic piece of pretty realistic, photorealistic art. This is the kind of stuff you find on the cover of like old war history naval books. You know, like famous battles of World War II.
Exciting stories from the sea.
Yeah, it's got that dust jacket with like, you know, some sort of art from the 50s that's, you know, photorealistic and now it's all fuddy-duddy today. You know, it's got that look, except added in is just the most, probably the best interpretation.
Yes.
One of my favorite interpretations of the War of the Worlds
I love it.
tripods. Now, for those of you who don't know War of the Worlds,
where the hell have you been?
Cultured swine?
Swine!
It is a
Tusker?
famous alien invasion novel written by H.G. Wells.
Yes.
One of the originators of the sci-fi genre. And it is about aliens from Mars.
Correct.
Who come down in their tripod space bots, mechs, not robots, and start to take over the planet
and
Earth.
Suck your sweet human
and just
juices.
when you think, just when you think, and I'm just going to spoil it because
we're a bunch of
everyone knows
juice
this
boxes
end,
to them.
because everybody knows the end of the story. See, these aliens, they had thought of everything. And they were superior in every way.
We are superior
except
in every way.
for the simple common cold.
Oh, no.
That's right. These aliens catch Earthman's diseases and they succumb.
Dummies.
To our plagues. You dummies, you can get your vaccines?
Yeah, brother.
You don't want to get your vaccines?
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, here's the thing. The alien took
I've
me
had
up in his
tuberculosis
pod,
since I
and he
was
did some
fucking
wicked
7.
weird things to me, bro. But I got him
bro.
back, okay?
Yeah.
Because he died like 2 days later.
Dude,
Yeah,
He couldn't
kinda
take what I had.
I gave you one of these aliens a Percocet. Dude was on
I was
his
never
ass.
more thankful for that rash that Charlize gave me, let me tell you. Those aliens dumped me out quicker than a sack of potatoes.
Yeah, they zoomed right over me.
So yes, folks, this cover is actually a little bit terrifying to me. There's something about the dark horizon there and the water and the fact that this thing is able to stand in the Thames and just walk through it, and it's burning a hole through this ship, and all the people on that are going to sink into watery graves and drown, and this giant looming robot, look at its underbelly. Do you see what's coming out of its underbelly?
Tentacles.
Tendricles! There's tendricles coming out of this thing, folks.
Ew, like a hypodermic needle. Oh,
Yes.
this is that Travis Walton scene in Fire in the Sky Exit movie where he's like, and they're just poking things in him.
Okay, so before I give you the artist for this, let me give you a bit of the backstory because it's pretty cool. So again, we're talking about Jeff Wayne. To complete his vision, he hired an art director. Who, making albums nowadays, hires an art director? This is something that happened back in the day, folks. It doesn't happen anymore, and
It's sad.
It's so sad. It goes to show like how much care and thought that was being put into this package. And this guy based his life around just this project, basically. And
it's a bittersweet thing. It's a bittersweet thing because so many people now can release albums, but now you know it's so saturated. There's so many people. You don't need a big studio, and so there's less money in it, and so money just doesn't get put into these projects anymore. That's why we need special cover junkie nerds like you just creating stuff.
We have to get back to these days,
those
folks.
self-releases.
Well, and all of you
partnering up with
listening
other
out there
people.
doing art, like sometimes you want to price yourself really high, and I get that because you're putting out quality works. But
Right.
you know, if we learned anything from the dungeon siege that happened recently, folks, if you didn't check that out, it's probably on YouTube now. It's been out for a while,
Yeah.
but that is a
But
culture.
it's fresh in our minds.
The reason we love it is because it's a culture of people that literally just help each other out. They fund each other's projects, they do art for each other, they do covers. And Jeff paid for this, probably a good amount of money, but it's that culture of like bringing people together, bringing art minds together, helping each other out.
It's more of a co-opt than a corporate situation.
Exactly.
And,
I love
Let's
that.
get back to this. Let's art direct each other. Let's help each other with self-releasing.
Yes.
We need more self-releasing for sure. So
self-release is the future.
Back to the art directing. He hired, I believe it's John Pesh, as the art director.
Ooh,
John Pesh created the lettering that you see on this cover. And the lettering, folks, is awesome. It's this.
It's got that ragtime feel. It
does. It's perfect.
It goes along with the steamboat really well.
Well, yeah, and War of the Worlds is kind of Victorian era piece. That's kind of when it's set. So it works really well, but it's got the red and blue, which still really gives it that awesome sci-fi ambiance. And, just how it swirls, it does kind of look like circus lettering, but somehow it works really well. So he designed the lettering, but you guys will know him because John Pesh was also the guy who did the Rolling Stones tongue. The famous... Yep. That was the guy.
Well, I mean, it's kind of cool. This almost looks like a postcard, like visit the wild Mississippi, and then an alien just shows up, and it's like, maybe not today, folks. Maybe you should just hunker down. But
that's a great idea,
looks like
Inks.
this alien just dropped into a picturesque postcard and started.
It does.
Fucking people's worlds up.
There's artists on like Instagram who take like those crappy old paintings from like Goodwills and then add like monsters to them.
Oh, I love
like
that.
Dinosaurs and dragons and things.
I love that.
This is what this looks like. This looks like someone hijacked some piece of art from like the 1800s and like,
yeah, man,
add like a robot to this piece, man. Hey, bro, pass me a joint.
Dude, can you put a piece of pizza in his hand?
Yeah, and what a great robot it was. So John Pesh, really talented guy, and he basically assembled the Art Avengers for War of the Worlds, okay? Because, folks, there was not one artist responsible for the artwork in this album. There were 3, okay? It takes 3 artists to make your War of the Worlds album, all right? So, John assembled the artists. They got together with Wayne. Wayne explained his vision, explained what he wanted to do. He sent them back with the book. They all read the book, and then they came back with sketches, art ideas, and then they left, and it took about a year. After about a year, they had the art assembled, and what we get, folks, is this amazing art that I am about to go through with you now. I will tell you, I'm not going to go super in-depth on all these artists, because we are trying to get through all these covers. I do have links for them. Yes. But just know if you want to check out more about them, you can find them. So going down to the next slide here, you're going to see this is the full panel. This is the full piece, the gatefold, front and back again.
This is awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's kind of interesting here. I love how the smoke, because if you just look at the front, it looks a lot more dark and foreboding, but you can tell it's like the smoke is moving into the daylight, obscuring it. I just think it's such a cool piece. And if you go to the next slide here, the book basically has full art within it.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, if you had the original vinyl, which I envy anyone who has this, you get pieces of art. This one is by Peter Goodfellow. This is Horsell Commons. This is when the dome slides off of the Martians.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, and then they build their machines, and they first get revealed. Now, really quickly, the third slide there, folks, that was done by Mike Trim. Mike Trim was responsible for the cover art. He did he did a lot of pencil sketches. He actually designed the Martian ships. So the look is thanks to him. And then he painted it. I don't have his format. It didn't say what he painted in, but I'm actually going to say that both this and Peter Goodfellow's are both acrylics. And I say that because when you zoom in, all the lining is super edged. There isn't a lot of blur to them, and everything looks fairly flat. So I don't see a whole lot of texture. 78.
Yeah, I mean, you might have some acrylic at the time.
At the very least, I'm almost positive that this Horsel Commons is acrylic, especially if you zoom in. It just it doesn't.
It just doesn't have it doesn't have that. There's definitely some airbrush going on. There's some airbrush. It doesn't have that creamy, sort of, glow that the oils have. I'm inclined to agree with you, Tapes.
Yeah,
I'm inclined to agree.
Peter Goodfellow is a pretty awesome individual as well. He was a fairly prolific sci-fi painter. He did a bunch of Arthur C. Clarke paintings. His website,
nice.
Yes, lots of Arthur C. Clarke. His website is kind of weird to navigate and doesn't have a lot of his sci-fi stuff on there, and it doesn't really have a bio either. So again, not a ton of information on him, but the piece he created was just really evocative. Inks, do you want to go ahead and describe Horsel Commons here?
Crispy. Okay, so this is a full panorama of like a misty early morning countryside. The sky is a lovely Inksian Pinksian.
Yes, Inksian
it's a lovely morning pink. You've got the deciduous trees parceled out, and you've got these gentlemen underneath this looks like an oak in the front, which is kind of, I don't know, it's just an oak is a strong tree, and they're kind of all leaning against it and cowering around it.
If you zoom in on his hand looks so weird.
Let's see this.
I'm zooming in.
It looks like he's holding a cigarette. Is that a cigarette?
He's got tiny hands. He's got them Trump hands.
There. I was just having a bit of a ciggy.
What the bloody hell is that? Well, I don't know. Look at that. And what are they pointing at? What has got their attention? It is a glistening airbrushed glass bowl, probably for a very large fruit salad. Yum. No, actually it is a UFO disc, like classic saucer shape. But it is so glistening and shiny and probably loaded with radiation. So, whoever they got to go down there, Filbert went, go down there, Filbert, and see what that is. And he's like, I don't know, my balls hurt. My balls hurt really bad. I feel like there's radiation coming off of his leg.
There goes me spawn.
I don't know if I can stand him much longer. I don't think I have any sperm left. All right.
This the background on this is amazing. Like the actual
the mist through the trees.
This is Brengineer syndrome right here. This is like I do really well with
this
trees
does look like
and
a
backgrounds and
painting you
stuff.
done.
But then you get to the people. And the people are like plastic mannequin people.
Well,
because you notice the other guy's got his hands in his
we're
pants.
literally the opposite when it comes to doing like I do people floating in a white space, a white nether space.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
No white.
So I can't talk. I don't have the patience for this kind of luscious background.
Opposite problems.
It's funny though, folks. Yeah, Brengineer's totally right. Like the environment in this, I just want to chew it. This is Hubba Bubba. This is a Hubba Bubba landscape, and I love it.
It's when you chew something, you chew that gum, and your mouth can't contain the spit, and so it starts coming out the corners of your mouth. Yeah, that's what this is.
And yeah, I'm using these images too, folks, to make the point. So that disc, that salad bowl, is huge. Okay,
it's huge.
These suckers are large.
Filbert's sperm is gone.
we're going to see some of the carnage that they can induce. What we have next is a pile of juice made by Jeff Taylor. Brengineer, just describe this right away.
Oh, I love this. This is like almost Geiger-esque.
Oh,
this is almost like Boschian. So you have a medieval style village, Wattle and Daub style buildings, old school.
Hold on,
18 like this
is that
old
literally what
village.
the name is?
Wattle and Daub.
Wattle and Daub.
Yeah.
Wattle and Daub.
I love it. Wattle and Daub. My favorite lunch.
And what you have is the town square. The town square is completely filled with pink jelly.
Oh, dude. The red weed.
Slime.
It's supposed to be the red weed.
It's the red weed, and it is just covering everything. You see, when the aliens come through, they leave devastation and a strange red substance
wreck the land.
behind.
I thought the Spielberg movie did a pretty good job of depicting just like veins.
Yeah,
just like nasty.
Dude, I like this. I like the bag of fat that's just been split open and spilt all over.
Oh yeah, this looks like someone's liposuction escaped.
Yeah, this is Tyler Durden climbing out of the dumpster in Fight Club and spilling hot fat all over himself.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's got this incredible apocalyptic sky.
Look at the sky. I know.
So freaking cool.
Okay, so folks, this one blew me away, okay, because this is done by a gentleman named Jeff Taylor. I can't deep dive because this guy is an episode. He is his own episode.
You're salivating like you got that
he
mouthful.
He is so iconic. I couldn't believe it. On his website is amazing. Right out the gate, his website gives you a play-by-play on how he does his art. It has 457 of his covers and a further 977 illustrations that he's done for various things. It's got interviews. It's got everything we need for an episode. We can literally just like give you his website. He's done a ton of stuff for White Dwarf Games Workshop.
And, really?
Dude, this guy, I'm telling you, he is. I just want to like. Yes. And instead of breaking it down,
this website, this is like 1995 kind of thing. This is not a good website. It doesn't look great.
Website.
Man, this art.
It's got so much shit in it.
This art. Oh my gosh.
I know. There's so much.
I wasn't gonna do it, but here I am.
There you are. Yeah. Good luck.
Oh my gosh! Okay. What the heck?
So is this? Has it got the warrior? You got the young Dwayne Johnson
look at
warrior.
These Warhammer pieces. What?
Dude, look at Dwayne Johnson's face.
Okay,
oh my gosh!
While you guys are spilling your seed over his art, I'm going to read this quote. He had
look at that background, Brendan. That's something you would do.
I have never had a quote that someone put up that just explains their art style so much. So he said, "I paint mainly in acrylics and mostly brushwork, but whenever I need to do large areas of color, I use an airbrush. I used
how dare you
gouache paint some years ago. Gouache. I always say that. I used gouache paint some years ago. It's very easy to use and it's brilliant for detail, but it's powdery, and therefore the color is very easily scratched. So I switched to acrylics, which I tend to use like gouache paint, not like oil paints. I do love all that thick impasto effect, but I've never been able to work that way. So mostly my style is just traditional paintbrush techniques. 3 brushes, big, medium, and small. Occasionally, I'm asked to do some black and white illustrations. Then I use Indian ink, fine line pen, even felt tip pens. Not good if you have to use a white medium on top, though. I've resisted the digital stuff because, truthfully, I've never had the time to learn." And he goes on to basically talk about how hybridized art isn't his thing, but literally explained all of his art right there. We know exactly what Jeff Taylor does. He's an acrylic and airbrush man, and you can totally tell in this piece. The airbrush, like, I don't know where that's coming in, but holy crap, folks, this is some amazing
he said he's using it
work.
for, like, large swaths, so probably his clouds.
His pink jelly.
And probably his...
Zoom in on the pink jelly. It's insane looking.
Yeah.
Holy crap. But I have to believe he does, pen or ink underlines and then just paints over this son of a gun. But holy crap, Jeff Taylor, we're coming back for you, man. But again, the devastation caused by the pink slurm. And going down, I had to throw in one more Jeff Taylor. Utter chaos caused by these walking tripods.
Oh my god!
Look at the tower falling. It almost looks like a photograph. It's insane.
Yeah, honestly, these look kind of like paintings he did before he got good. Like, these are the ones
for
where
sure.
like,
I like these.
He just started getting into it, and then like he started getting like gigs, and he got all excited. He's like, oh, this is where it starts.
Here's the thing. I think there are pieces of this that are amazing. For instance, the people in the foreground are a little funky looking.
Oh, dude, they're so weird.
The building in the background and the tripod are insane.
Yeah. Definitely,
you have your
right
wheelhouse.
hand panel. The right hand panel is definitely a lot more effective. Like, the building, the actual painting of the building crumbling looks photorealistic. Like, that looks
it's crazy.
That looks like a World War II photo that someone like colorized.
I will say
that's insane.
I will say his people are funky, but he did one of the hardest things that it is to do when you're drawing people, and specifically women, is he got the breast right. They don't look weird. There's like, they've got the proper weight. They're not like up in her neck, which most fantasy artists, including my young self, would just put them things mashed up in their neck. I mean, he got the weight right on
the
that.
elbows, right?
Yeah.
Dude, the movement, I think he does movement really well.
Yeah.
Because to me, this just looks like utter chaos.
That's all of it. Yeah, this whole thing is just the movement. And people don't look normal when they're running around and freaking out.
And you have your wheelhouse, you have your things that you're good at, and maybe people isn't his first choice. I mean, obviously he's more of a landscape man. He's got a really good
background. Look at that tripod just shooting a heat ray right into that building. Oh, it's
these
so
things
good.
are damn tall. Look at the
dude. They're huge.
If that's the legs,
these are imposing tripods that will melt anything they hit. All right, folks, these are dangerous.
Yeah. In the 1800s.
And we have Jeff Wayne to thank for having an idea, bringing it all together to create this package. And folks, once again, I like the movie Willow. I am so stuck on War of the Worlds right now.
Really?
It's kind of all I've been listening to. The music is like, if you are into composition, if you're into soundscapes and like how you want to create things with sound, you gotta listen to this because it's so good. It's an amazing rock opera. He performs it live, and it's got actors on stage, and there's a giant tripod that descends. At the very end, folks, I have the song Thunderchild for you to listen to, and the next slide is a video clip from the live show. So,
oh man,
yes,
this is such a 1970s project.
It is such a 1970s project, but he still does it today, and it is so amazing.
Does he still do it?
You'll never listen to anything like it, folks. If when you have the time, go ahead and listen to it. It's awesome. And that for my time in this battle, folks, this is what I'm bringing in. War of the Worlds robot.
You are piloting
what's it bringing?
Tripod.
What's it bringing to the fight?
We're going to get to that. We're going to go through our covers, folks, and at the end, we're going to give you our summary of who's going to win. So,
well, joke's on you. Joke's on you guys, because I'm not even going to go into the cover. I'm not even going into the cover because, let's be honest, this was a big-name movie, and you can't find anyone who did the cover art. All right?
Oh.
So, are we ready to dive in?
Okay.
We're ready.
To Retro Robot. I was a boy It was 1999.
Oh yeah.
My parents took me to watch an animated film called The Iron Giant, the greatest animated film of all time. Of all time. It's an amazing film. It's full of incredible hand-drawn animation, an amazing 1950s setting, a great story with heart, and a giant freaking robot
played by Vin Diesel.
Who thought that a metal Vin Diesel could bring tears to your eyes?
I know.
He did it as a giant woodman. That's his best roles, to be honest.
So Brad Bird, a well-known director of animated films, directed Iron Giant. He would go on to direct The Incredibles and Ratatouille.
Holy smokes.
And The Incredibles 2 and all kinds of stuff.
Great movies. Great films.
Great movies. A highly respected director of these kind of films.
Father kiss.
And yeah. And he did this movie. Now, I don't want to go a whole lot into what the film's about because you just need to go watch the things,
such a good movie.
If you haven't watched it. But let's just talk
It is
briefly.
one of the best animated movies of all time. It is
Absolutely.
easily in
sure.
the top 5. It's
sure.
easily in the top 5 best animated movies of all time.
Yep. So here's what we got. Let's. Who wants to do the original theatric poster?
You know what? I'll take this. First of all, what you've got is a lot like War of the Worlds, the Superior Robot. You have a classic-looking poster with, and you know what's cool too? This again, it's going back to the Rocket Man poster that Brennan did. It's kind of got that.
It's called the Rocketeer.
It is easily
Rocket Man.
Rocketeer Man.
Easily got some of that Soviet era Rocketeer style going on with it. The Iron Giant is running, holding the little boy in his hands. The airplanes are trying to shoot him down with bullets and missiles, but they're not going to do shit because he's made out of like space metal.
Space magic.
Space metal,
And he's running. And the background is sort of these just silhouetted colors: red, orange, green for the trees, blue, and it's got "It came from outer space" on top in awesome serial letters.
Ooh,
and
baby.
below you have the Iron Giant.
And it's got an excellent logo.
It's got a great logo, and it's got the folks in the film cowering on the other side going, "Ah!" And it's just a really cool, effective poster. It's very catching.
Now, what's important about this poster is that the producers or the executive producers, the studio heads, the camel humpers, they wanted this movie to take place in modern day and have a rap soundtrack. And Brad Bird was like, no, 1950s.
No.
1950s. And the reason this is important is this poster looks like a 1950s movie poster that you would see, or on the front of like a pulp magazine or something like that. And the kid in the movie who befriends this robot that's fallen from space starts off the movie watching an old 1950s came from outer space.
Yeah, it's so good.
It's so good. Yeah, just watching all these old like space movies.
He's got a fucking chip in his tooth. He's just got so much character.
Yeah, the setting and the time is hugely important. And it's what makes it such a cool movie. And you have the weird beatnik guy who like builds sculptures out of trash. And you have,
the only thing worth a damn that Harry Connick Jr.'s done. Hot take.
Yeah. You have the sleazy military guy who, wants to kill everything because it's the 50s and commies are everywhere.
Freaking trigger
blow it up with a missile.
Now, next we have the DVD cover.
Hold on just a second. Yeah. I know who did this cover.
Do you?
I know who did this poster.
I looked everywhere.
And I tell you why I know, because it is done by our dear friend and often uncredited poster artist. John Alvarini.
This is
He's got his hands on this poster. He's got his fingers. I remember this when I was doing my
This is
John
mind-blowing.
Alvin dive.
Patreon.
And put this in my back pocket, and I was like, man. So if you go to IMDb and you scour the crew, the cast and crew, if you go all the way through it, you'll often find an uncredited poster artist, John Alvin. Mwah. Mwah.
Holy
You're right.
crap. This is amazing,
It was John
folks.
Alvin.
They all reconnect.
So if you haven't, if you don't know about John Alvin, we've talked about him quite
Yeah, I did a Patreon
bit.
about him.
Yep, he did Blade Runner.
Everything. Dragonheart, the best movie of all
Dragonheart.
time.
Man, what else did I have?
Bagglecut.
He did Willow. He did the melty face Willow.
We can't escape. We cannot
Can't escape, dude. Wow,
John Alvin is everywhere,
dude. There's a book about it. He did the ET. With
He's
some of the more
filling all the
prominent
cover
ones.
holes.
There's a whole book about him, but he's talked about extensively on the 24x36 documentary. Check that out and pay homage to this often uncredited master.
There you go. And we don't really need to talk about him right now because
we've talked about him before.
We've talked about him a lot, and this will not be the last time we talk about him.
No.
John Alvin. Now coming down, another image. I don't know. This looks like digital to me. I don't know who the artist is. Who wants to describe this one? It's for the DVD release.
Inks, you take this one. This
one's interesting. It's like
great.
a variant on a different one. So there's another one that's kind of looks like this, except for his eyes don't look all sad. Okay, but it's the reason. Look, I almost picked this. I almost picked The Iron Giant because it is such an excellent movie. But I knew that the Rocketeer himself was going to fly in and swoop this. So
That's right.
we've got
if it's anywhere near punching Nazis, the Brengineer's there.
Oh man, and if it's anywhere near older than 1960, it's in the mansion.
It's in the pistachio mansion.
We've got the Iron Giant. He's holding Hogarth. Hogarth is explaining to him. He's got the sad eyes because
the kid's name is Hogarth.
You are.
That kid's mom hates him.
You are who you are.
Jennifer
to be.
Aniston hates Hogarth.
What are you going to call him? Hoagie? Hog?
What's cool about this poster is it's got the sunset behind him and it's just a silhouette of the Iron Giant. And it's one of those things that I love that if you haven't, this is a great, I think this was like the original first teaser poster. And it's one of the best ways to introduce a movie, in my opinion, where you just get a little bit of that taste. Not everything is given away, so that when he comes stomping out of the woods to eat the metal and electricity from the power plant, it's just
So
as
good.
shocking. So
Damn,
silhouette
this movie
talking
up.
to Hogarth again.
This is the Iron Giant sad because the moon is about to crash into Earth and kill them all.
Sure. I know. Some gnarly titles though, bro.
This is an awesome. Can we just real quick also say how awesome it is that the Iron Giant logo in this is like metal?
I love it. I love
so
that
good.
the A has the cutout of the giant. I love that there's a
Yep.
moon in the iron. You know, sometimes you get too much stuff going on a poster. Fuck that. I want it all. I want the logo. I want the Iron Giant with the other Iron Giant. This is a moment where let's go full Tong D and get as much of this flavor as we can.
That's right.
Yeah.
Brengineer, are you going to give us an Arsenal breakdown? You're going to give us an
Yes,
Arsenal
I
breakdown.
am.
Oh,
Yes, I am.
Here it comes.
Because
I know this argument.
Everything these days has an amazing wiki fan page. And I found the Iron Giant wiki fan page. And I'm going to explain to you why the Iron Giant is going to destroy all of your robots. So, folks, if you've not seen this movie, the robot is also from Mars. Do you see a similarity here?
Is he from Mars? Is that
yes.
or is he just from outer space?
He's from Mars. Okay, he's from outer space. I don't know, but it's
Do you know why
50s.
he left
probably came
Mars?
from Mars.
Because the Martians kicked his ass.
Dude, Mars gets the blame for everything.
So,
when all they've got
anyways,
is frail tan people for John Carter to beat
right.
up on.
That's right. So the robot falls from space, and when he does, he gets a knock on the dome, and so he's got a little dent in his head the whole movie.
Oh.
And eventually, the dent undoes itself. It pops back out, and the robot, the Iron Giant, goes into a killing frenzy.
This is Logan Nine Fingers, the robot version.
He goes all destructo. That's the twist of the movie. He's such a kind and gentle robot, and all his friends are trying to hide him from the government in different ways. And then at last, he thinks Hogarth, his little human buddy, has been killed, and he goes full destructo mode. And this shows the full range of his abilities. So I'll start. First, immense strength and size. Giant robot metal, right?
How tall is he?
I don't know. Probably like 50 feet.
He's taller than trees.
Yeah. Indestructibility. He has fallen from Earth. He gets destroyed by a nuclear weapon, and his body parts still come back together.
He does have the Wolverine power.
Slowly.
Self-repairing function. Flight.
Self-repairing function.
He can fly. Matter ingestion. Matter ingestion. He can eat metal and use it to power himself. Now his weaponry. If we want to scroll down to the first.
Yeah, how does
GIF,
that work?
First GIF. His arm, one arm, his right one unfolds into a freaking arm cannon.
Oh God.
Okay. Next,
he's got a little bit like a heat ray. Interesting.
Next, he's got laser eyes.
Mars,
both of his eyes shoot lasers. Okay. Next, you've got the tri-scorpion cannons. Check this out.
Awfully familiar.
I didn't know that's what they were called. The tri-scorpion tentacle cannons.
The tri-scorpion tentacle cannons.
If we scroll down, you can't help but see the similarity from the far superior to the Steven Spielberg version.
The snorkel.
Where's
the legs? Where's the legs?
It doesn't have it. In this
the tripod is very important.
In this film, they fly because they probably couldn't figure out the tripod thing. And
I know
the manta ray Cadillac here.
I grew up watching this film. I love this film to pieces. It was another library find.
This is a cool. I love this weapon at the end, the little disc shooter with the crab arms.
Yeah,
beep 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 beep. It's like a record player.
That creates a mini black hole.
So now he's got this claw that shoots this thing that just straight up makes a tank disappear. Like completely just disappear. Turns it into an orb. It disappears.
Right.
And we go down a little farther. Yeah, we have the little energy ting 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 guy. Little claws.
This is just a Martian record player.
Thing. And then lastly, last but not least, his chest opens up, shoots a giant freaking electromagnetic orb that just wipes out anything in its radius. This is why the Iron Giant
didn't do much to that ship. That ship is fine. Plus, there's no waves created from it.
Because he misses. Remember, he misses? He gets distracted.
But everyone's just getting a light tan from it.
No, and if it hit that ship, that thing would have been dematerialized.
So what if the kids grow up with 3 legs?
Yep.
Fine.
Now, you might say,
Giant.
Once the Iron Giant did this, he couldn't do it again because he forgot or whatever because of his dented head.
No, he ran out of energy.
He has complete and total recall once he has done this. He knows how to do all of these tricks. He has all these weapons. He can use them at any time he pleases.
Fish dome glass.
You're saying that now that Hogarth has fixed him, he can just murder things when he feels like it.
If need be, to protect the planet or his friends.
So what happens when Hogarth dies of old age? Riddle me that.
Then he becomes an enraged, unstoppable, killing robot.
And we have to call up our robots to stop him.
Last but not least, and most importantly, is the voice. It's the voice. Vin Diesel, the ultimate robot voice. Nothing will defeat that. I rest my case. Iron Giant,
except for cholesterol and too much smoking.
We shall see, folks. But I believe, Brengineer, well done. Wonderful. I love to taste John Alvin again. Inks, I believe it's time to unveil our final contestants.
All right. What do you do? What do you do when you have a giant dinosaur kaiju ravaging your city over and over and over again. What do you do when you feel the stomp shatter your hopes as yet again Godzilla has climbed his way out of the surf to stomp out everything you've built? You built something that can take him on. You build...
He's blowing an atomic fart right now.
Mecha Godzilla. Oh, yeah. Yes. First slide is to show the majesty that is Godzilla, my boy, the king, the unstoppable, except for when he goes up against Mecha Godzilla.
Godzilla just looks like a big, chunky, Godzilla. Fat, furry thing.
Okay.
He does have a nice fur coat on. I
mean, look at him.
Look at him. Look how beautiful he is. Look at the little tiny ears. Okay, let's get into this.
What's wrong with his chest?
Because there's something very specific about...
What's wrong with his big,
it's the
fat
extra
legs?
bonular structure to block your
legs?
stupid rays.
Someone's about to get stabbed,
bouncing
folks.
off of his chest.
His bottom half looks like a big giant camel toe.
Dude, that's his dork.
Are you body shaming Godzilla right now? Look at those beautiful. Look at this beautiful pear-shaped body that will ravage Tokyo over and over and over again.
Oh, dude, I'm just worried about his hot fart.
This thing doesn't look like it
beautiful
could move.
kaiju. Okay, so I specifically chose a certain Mecha Godzilla. There's Mecha Godzilla showing up at least 10 times now. I don't know if you guys have seen the new Godzilla Kong movie, but as I was doing research for this, I have not seen the movie yet, but I ruined it for myself because Mecha G shows up in that movie.
Well, there's nothing to ruin. He gets his ass kicked like he does in every single time because he's a weak-ass robot.
The only way to defeat Mecha Godzilla, the only way to defeat Mecha Godzilla is to call other monsters to your aid. You cannot take him down by yourself. And you cannot take him down with a 50-foot tall robot because Mechagodzilla in this era, the Heisei era, this is a term that is identifying the era that is starting in 1989 and going, I believe, to 1996. I could be wrong, but it's named so because of the political Heisei era that's going on in Japan at the time. But they rebooted Godzilla. They rebooted him, and this is the Godzilla that I grew up. The one with the little tiny ears, with the cat Godzilla. Much like Cat Smog, if you need to bump up your lizard, give it cat-like features. He does a little dance
at the end of every battle. hey.
No, that's the Shoyu era. The Shoyu era.
That's 60s, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, this era got dark. This era got serious, and this era got a painter to paint the posters known as Noriyoshi Orai.
These are so incredible. They're so amazing. Incredible. I want to take these into the bathroom right now.
Really, I mean, the thing about them is they're just better than the movies? These monsters. First of all, the cover art is definitely better than the actual movies themselves.
Oh, easily.
Yeah,
easily.
These are
but this is a cover battle.
This is
a cover battle, not a movie battle.
The atmosphere of these images is insane. I can't even describe it.
You're gonna have to try.
I'm gonna do it right now. Here's what we got. Background.
I'm gonna do it.
Okay, this is clearly done in oil, right? This is oil.
Yeah, we can talk about that in a minute.
It's gotta be oil. I'm just looking at it. It's gotta be oil. So oil, on board. And you've got Mechagodzilla in the background.
Looking freaking dude. This Mechagodzilla is going to punch your freaking Iron Giant right.
He's got wires hanging off of him.
Have you guys seen how these robots move?
Look, these things are he's shooting a spaceship out of his chest. A spaceship.
Boom. These things, they move so slow.
This is a cover battle.
Back and forwards.
Battle.
Okay.
Gangster robots don't have to run. Okay.
Middle of the picture, you've got a less morbidly obese looking cat Godzilla, He's got
not
some
quite as
laser coming
hairy.
out of his mouth. He's grabbing a spaceship by both wings and snapping the wings off.
I love this.
And then in front is this weird bird thing.
Is that Rodan?
That's Rodan. Rodan
man.
is
that is
lamenting.
That is a scrappy looking Rodan. It's holding an egg, a red egg that it probably just laid, and it's like sitting on the ruins of great.
Howling in pain. That's
it's
not
sitting
that's
on
not
the
an
ruins.
egg, dude. That's a kidney stone.
It's sitting on the ruins of Mechagodzilla, letting us know exactly what happens at the end of this
No,
movie.
that's not
He gets his ass
Mechagodzilla.
kicked. Yes, it is. Look,
How
it's
is
got the
that
same
Mechagodzilla?
handguns.
Dude,
Look at the
one of the
handguns.
actually, I
kids.
think he might be right,
Look
dude.
at the handguns. It's got the same handguns.
No,
Yeah, look at
that's
it.
not Mechagodzilla, son.
Oh, dude, it is.
Shut your
It is,
mouth.
my friend.
You shut your mouth.
Tapes already agreed with me. That's Mechagodzilla.
Yeah, I think it might be.
It ruins the movie. You don't even need to watch this. You just look at the cover. You know, Mechagodzilla gets destroyed. Gets a weak ass robot. Awesome painting.
Oh, dude, that's the spaceship
Awesome
on his
painting.
chest he's ripping in half.
Yeah, dude. Oh,
So this robot in the cover does not show up in the movie. A different robot shows up in the movie. The
hilarious.
Mechagodzilla in the robot is clean. It looks like something Tony Stark designed. It's got clean seams. I love this Mechagodzilla with the gnarly teeth,
it's cool.
the glowing red eyes, the
incredible.
cords hanging off of it. This
want a whole
Mechagodzilla has
book.
thrusters. It can fly. It's got a chest beam. It's got a full-on breath beam. It is 400 feet tall. It is 400 feet tall, and it is kicking the Iron Giant back to Mars. Okay? It's doing a swat with its tail, and it is sending the Iron Giant going, "You are who you choose to be," off into space. Okay?
Me.
This
I don't know,
Godzilla
dude.
is made from space metal. Okay? So the original Godzilla, this is considered Mechagodzilla 2. The original Mechagodzilla was brought to Earth by space aliens. It was salvaged by humans to try and save their city. And I will say one of my favorite parts about this movie is when the pilots of the Mechagodzilla, which there's like 6, I believe, they finally like stand up and they go toe to toe with Godzilla, and they're all kind of like partially shitting their pants. They've got a nice lathery sweat going on. It's just beaded up on their face because Godzilla is the biggest, baddest thing around, and here they are finally trying to take their city back and going toe to toe with this beast. Now the man responsible for this, I've got in the next slide a little close up of the brilliance that is this version of the Mechagodzilla. And this is the man.
Take his little eye bags.
Dude,
His
look
little
at
like
this.
baggy
Look at this
eyes.
sweet
His
man,
eye bags?
Noriyoshi
What are his eye bags?
Orai.
Dude, I want his little eye bags to go in my pocket.
I
Next
just
to
want to
Ian
see
They're going
the
to
Holm's
creature we
fingers.
create out of your pocket, dude. Your pocket creature is going to be.
Dude,
a lot of sweet, adorable old man
We should
facial features.
Photoshop all those pieces at some point. And actually,
that's the monster. That's the monster to beat. Because you can't you can't get over just like smiling at it. Yeah, it was really hard to find a picture of him. There's only like a self-portrait of him that he did a while, when he was young and he had long flowing hair. But he passed away in 2015. But before then, he's at a gallery right here showing all of his incredible paintings.
Oh man, this
I've
guy's
got
art's so good.
a link in the last website. I've got a link to Film on Paper article. I read several articles about this man, and it's kind of hard to get this all consolidated, especially when you're looking up Japanese artists, because there's different characters that I'm not using, or as in letters, and there's sites that I can't read. And so I'm piecing this all together, and but the Film on Paper did a really good job of the exhibition. What's kind of cool is he did a lot of like wartime novels. Like there's a case that's a pyramid of all of his paperback novels that he did covers for, and there's a lot of planes and ships, and I see that carry over to the design of Mechagodzilla here. Again, a design that has never really seen film. And then on the next slide, I've got his workstation. Now, never could list what he uses to paint with, but I figured that we could all look at his workstation here and maybe figure out what it was.
Well,
that he
first
was
of all,
using.
he's got a fucking small forest of brushes. I don't even, dude. I mean,
I'm still gonna go oil.
I'm gonna have to agree with you on that one because oil brushes require natural bristle brushes. So
if he's using melt in the solvent,
if he's using the oil, then and he's got all these little tubes here. I'm guessing oil as well.
Plus, remember, folks, what we were talking about with those War of the Worlds ones. The shine is a signature acrylic look. Or sorry, not acrylic, oil look. And these are
glowing.
They have that glow.
Yeah, they got that glow.
They're glowing. And finally, I have to show you more. There's so much of his work. I want to do a deep dive on this man. There's so much good stuff from him. But since we're talking about Godzilla, here is Space Godzilla. Here is Godzilla versus Biollante, which is like a big plant monster.
Cover was one of my childhood covers. I always looked at this. I always wanted this.
It's so
this
good.
This giant, fleshy vagina alien flower.
Never rented it.
Is so cool. We never rented it. Oh.
The premise of this movie is, I guess, a bit of Godzilla's DNA gets mixed with a plant. And so this Godzilla plant that just weighs a ton and is just flopping all over the place and taking over Tokyo, and Godzilla has to fight it. But the big problem with this plant is it can regenerate. So this cover again is a lot cooler than the movie. But this is the Godzilla I grew up with. I've spoken before about a store called Big Lots, which basically is kind of like
I love
up
me
here
some
y'all
Big
have
Lots.
Buy Mart. I think there's a Big Lots up here, but they basically buy stuff from other stores that didn't sell. And I would go in there and I would look at all the Japanese toys that had no English writing on them. And often I would look at the aliens.
Well, yeah,
the aliens
it's
toys
the monsters.
with all the xenomorphs, xenomorph rhino, xenomorph bull. But then also there was Godzilla toys, and they were from this Heisei
best
era,
folks.
Yeah, I remember specifically Space Godzilla's giant crystal shoulder pads. And finally, a little bit more of Noriyoshi's work. Again, there's so much to talk about, but the one that gets talked about a lot is this awesome Star Wars cover that when it was finally dubbed in Japanese, this is the poster that was up at the movie theater, and then a brilliant
Look at this
Mad Max 2
in
full Bringineer brown.
Yeah,
Noriyoshi is kissing your forehead right now.
Dude,
he
is amazing.
Mwah.
Brendan. And then
Dude,
he
this
gave
is
this
browner. This is like this is so brown.
This is
it's unbelievable.
Definitely painted with feces and a little bit of blood.
Chili diarrhea.
This is sculpted. This is sculpted out of leather. But I mean, look at this is on the level of Tong D. It's got
Mad Max poo sculpture.
Yeah, you ate raw noodles. You chased it with some chili, and this is what came out the other end.
It's true, dude. This is like Tong D, and this just need to have they need to have a marriage.
God, the level of detail is unreal. Like the folds in the leather,
crazy.
Looking down at the jeans and the little flaps. Humongous looks like a fucking photo because you could see every little curve of his massive body. It's just this is a master at work. Again, we will circle back to him because he has done so many great posters that are often much better than the subject material, because that's what you do. If you have a movie with effects that are very dated, you just use the most powerful processor known to man, the imagination. Of the era. Yes. And you create a 400-foot tall Mecha Godzilla with gun fingers and blaster cannons on his back, who can fly and breathe fire and shoot stuff out of his fucking chest.
That's right, folks. And now it is time to win you over, all right? So it is time to roll the battle. In the apocalyptic future of 2007, global warming has melted the ice caps, flooding the world and forcing humanity into the last few cities remaining. In this harsh world where people are treated like cattle and windmill barons control the wealth, a new threat is coming. The grating of steel and iron, towering machines of death stalking closer. Will humanity band together, or will it fall on the eve of the Battlebots? All right, folks, it's time. We are going to try and win you over. I am going to go first. Let me tell you what happens. We're sitting in the little town, and all of a sudden, a bright light flashes, and Mechagodzilla comes streaming down, landing in the middle of this city. Godzilla isn't there, and he's pissed. So he says, you know what? I'm just going to go to town and start wrecking this 2007 village, destroying things. It just so happens that Hogarth, who's been cryogenically frozen, while the Iron Giant is waiting for him, has woken up, and he comes running to save his friend. He punches Mechagodzilla right in the metal sack, but because he's metal, it doesn't do anything. Mechagodzilla picks him up and just smashes him in half over his knee. But the Iron Giant is able to fuse himself back together. Then, folks, on the horizon, something starts coming. What is that? It's a tripod. Very slowly, it starts to walk, skitter closer to the town. Meanwhile, back at the town, the Iron Giant is now holding Mechagodzilla down, deploying some cannon fire right into his chest cavity. Metal is flying everywhere. People are screaming and dying, but it's too late. The battle has begun. Meanwhile, the spider creatures from Mars have begun to close in on the border of the town. They're putting people in baskets, liquidizing them, and spraying red Martian goo everywhere. Back to the battle! The Iron Giant has opened his chest cavity. Mechagodzilla is getting ready to fire, but it's too late. For a giant bolt of nuclear energy has wrapped around Mechagodzilla and melted him into a little sculpture that Hogarth's stepdad is going to turn into a sculpture. Then, the heat ray begins to descend upon the town, melting innocent bystanders. The Iron Giant turns. He deploys all of his weapons. He gets ready. He walks up to the Martian. And then everything goes quiet. The Iron Giant suddenly kneels down and says, "Master, I have waited for your return." And then the Iron Giant fries Hogarth and destroys the entire city. The world belongs to the Martians. Folks, that's how the Martians win. All right, who's next?
All right, so the Iron Giant just hanging out with Hogarth. Suddenly, Mechagodzilla descends. He crushes the small town under his giant feet. But because he is so ungainly and 400 feet tall, there's nothing he can do against the fast-moving, 50-foot-tall Iron Giant who spins and flies, and the giant robot is so slow-moving, it can't get even close. And then the Iron Giant sees it. The two fleshly beings piloting this so-called robot. He aims his lasers. All it takes is one fire, and they're dead, roasted in their cockpits. And the giant robot is stuck there forever to be turned into some sort of strange beatnik art project for Hogarth's stepdad.
He's meanwhile, turned into a statue.
Meanwhile, the aliens got sick with the flu and died. The end.
Hey, don't you swat away my Martians, you son of a bitch. They're cool.
They got sick. They got the common cold and died.
All right. So there... The countryside is beautiful. The Iron Giant is busily fingering the deer that he took as his lover in the forest.
Don't finger the deer. Don't. Leave it alone.
But before the deer can reach her climax, a gust of wind flattens the forest. Trees fly everywhere. Towns homes are ripped off of their foundations because Mechagodzilla has just arrived with his thrusters and is blowing a torrent of wind. The Iron Giant can't even keep his on his feet. He throws up his fish glass dome, but is immediately stomped because he is only an eighth of the size of this massive robot. Meanwhile, something is jamming the thruster on the right side of Mechagodzilla's, so he reaches over and he picks out a tripod from a Martian walker and leaves it on the ground.
Hey, he's gonna be covered in red goo,
he travels
okay?
forth to find a more worthy foe. Mechagodzilla.
Weak sauce.
All right, folks. It's up to you.
It's up to you. It's
Inks,
up to
you tell them.
Okay, so this is how it's going to go, folks. You listen to the episode. You like what you see. You like what you hear. You look at the slides. You ponder the deep thoughts of Martian robots and metals coming from space, and then you go to our Instagram. So you go to Instagram at coverdecoder.com. Thursday night, I'm going to put up a survey that will go all the way until Friday night, and you guys can vote on which robot would win. Right now, I'm not really sure how to do a three-way survey, so we may have to do a preliminary bout. Decided we're going to figure out who goes first, and then the winner of that battle will have to take on the next one. I'm not sure yet, but it will be on Instagram, and you will be able to vote on which robot would be the winner. Now,
and folks, if you don't have Instagram, you can also send it to our email at coverdecoder.com.
Yes, that's great. Yeah. Send us your emails on how Mechagodzilla would destroy everyone else.
Yeah. And keep in mind that the Iron Giant is literally invincible and can piece himself back together.
And that no matter what, the world ecostructure won't recover from the red weed, so really everyone's going to die anyway.
Mechagodzilla is made from space metal. So, let me throw that out there. But
so is the Iron Giant.
All you need to know is that you can vote. Tripods. You will be the one who is deciding the robot that will then take on, because it's not over, folks. This all started because June is coming up, and we are going to have a monster battle. Now, Bringineer said, if we're going to have a monster battle, why don't we have a robot battle? And we said,
3 episodes, folks.
Hell yes, sir. So we are going to have a kaiju battle in June, and you are going to vote on that as well. And the winner of the robot battle will then take on the winner of the kaiju battle in the ultimate robot kaiju showdown.
Can't wait to see the War of the Worlds robots defeat whoever's kaiju.
I'm telling you.
They destroyed a steamer.
You're trying so hard. They destroyed
a steamer.
An 1800 steamer that advanced 1800s.
Its name was Thunder.
Mechagodzilla has a tail. He has a tail, which takes out anything that's walking on stilts. So then we will come back for Patreon. The Patreon people will get to listen to the battle. They will get to hear the bout that is the final battle. If you want to hear that, please sign up for Patreon. It's $2 a month. $2 a month. $2 will not even buy you this Mechagodzilla movie at the dump bin at Walmart.
Yeah, you can't even get on VHS for that much.
It sure as hell is not buying you Iron Giant, and you're not going to be able to pick up that a vintage vinyl that's probably worth $200 of the War of the Worlds. So why don't you take that $2 and do something productive with it and help us decide a kaiju battle, okay?
Yeah.
So we're going to have that finale, and we'll probably have some honorable mentions or maybe some covers related to the finalists. So there you have it, folks. It is in your hands. We've done our best, but you will decide the future of the robot, the Earth, and probably Mars.
And young Hogarth.
And 90-year-old Hogarth who just wants to fucking get laid
just wishes
and
he could
have
be
this
dead.
robot leave him the hell alone.
The Martians are going to inject his blood into their veins.
All right, my friends. It's been another excellent edition of Cover Decoder. We have our Instagram at Cover Decoder. You can email us at coverdecoder@gmail.com. Like and subscribe. We have a Patreon, like we just said, $2 only for lots of great content that nobody else gets.
No.
And remember, friends, whether you are from Earth or from Mars, the Iron Giant will kick your ass.
Oh, you said
Look at Godzilla!